Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a dry cleaner business that we inquired about and almost did it. We almost put it under contract, but we're going to share a little bit more about why we didn't and actually why we walked away from this deal. It had a lot of potential, but ultimately ended up walking away. So we're excited to talk about the deal today and share a little bit more.
We're going to talk about kind of what caught our interest, like the steps we took, what we found in the financials, and then kind of what ultimately led us to kind of walk away.
So let's start by talking about why we even considered a dry cleaner. We actually weren't looking actively for dry cleaners. We were looking a lot just for laundromats. And we came across this dry cleaner. Well, Johnny came across the dry cleaner. But it is a business within the same sector as laundromats, so we entertained it. We're actively looking for businesses that are cash flowing and already have like good systems in place, employees in place, and this business, or so we thought, had all of that. And so Johnny's going to share a little bit more about how we found this business.
Here's how we found it. We literally just walked in. I was driving for businesses, I guess you would call it, kind of like driving for dollars, driving for doors. And I went into 4 or 5 dry cleaners, and this was, I think, the 4th or 5th one. I talked to the owner, or what I thought. I didn't know was the owner at the time. I asked if the owner was there. He said no. I said, hey, I'm actually looking to buy the business. Are you selling? And he said, actually, sir, I own the business. That's me. My name's Steve. He's like, yeah, I'm Steve. I'm the owner. He's like, I actually have the business listed with the broker at the time. And so I was like, okay, can you give me your broker's information? Trying to get the story and trying to open up a bigger conversation. And then he was kind of working at the time and busy, and so I was like, let me just get your number. We'll talk another time. We'll go over more specifics. And so got on the phone a little bit later, and he actually told me that he used to work with a brokerage, and the brokerage they actually canceled their listing, and so it was unlisted at the moment. And so I was like, okay, great, perfect. This is a great opportunity to go direct to seller. I was asking the history of the business and kind of what was going on, and he let me know that his dad and his mom have owned it since the mid to early 70s. It's been there for obviously the last, 50 years now. And they were the primary operators. About 5-10 years ago, his dad and his mom got sick, and they haven't really been able to work. And so if you look at the financials around that time, the financials and everything started going down. And this
They
was
were originally really good. Like the financials are like 10 years ago, they were really good. He was saying it was like making like 700,000 to a million a year.
So the son is running it, and he's having to take care of the parents that obviously can't take care of themselves. He's having to take care of the business, and then he has his own family. He has a teenage daughter. From the conversation that we gathered, it kind of sounds like he might have another job as well. So the business was just kind of hanging on. It's kind of neglected is kind of what I felt. So I was like, great. The business isn't really being paid attention to. There's a lot of opportunities for marketing, a lot of opportunities to increase profits, all these things, increase services. I was like, this is a great business. And so I was like, you know what, let's move forward. Let me sign an NDA. Let's get more of these financials. And then we got the financials back. And we started to kind of get the picture of what was going on. It was not cash flowing as well as we had originally thought. It was barely cash flowing at all, which is good because it was actually cash flowing. We sent the limited financials that we got. We sent those over to Jazz Dev, one of our guys, Jazz Dev Kaylee from Owners Club. Appreciate you, brother. And from the conversations back and forth, we kind of got to the conclusion that it might not be something that was worth pursuing. Given the time, or given the cash flow. The cash flow was about anywhere from like 25 to 40 grand a year, and that is including the owner's compensation. And so when you think about hiring an operator that's going to command 50, 60, $70,000, to run the business, you need cash flow around 150, 200, right? If you want to make it worth your time. If you want to have a business that you're putting all this time in and it's making 20 grand a year, you might as well just go get a job to have all that headache and have all that overhead without the cash flow, right? And the reason why you're taking that risk, that's why business owners make a lot of money. They're taking the risk, they reap the rewards. And so when we're looking at our time and kind of what it would take from a mental standpoint, a time standpoint, we're thinking, maybe this might not be the best deal for us.
Mm-hmm. We actually got like all of the financials too. Like the initial P&L that he sent over was, I think it was like of just 2023. So like you can tell he was already like behind in a lot of the books. It was just a bunch of nonsense all over the books. like the revenue was really, really low and inconsistent. Like the expenses were eating up a lot of the gross profit. There was labor. He wasn't paying himself. So you can see right away, like there was like nothing on there as far as for him. Utilities, like there were odd items that just like weren't really well documented. So after we got like the P&L, I'm pretty sure we gave him a call just asking about a lot of the stuff that was on the P&L and a lot of like stuff in the gray of where he was like, yeah, I just really don't know. Like, you know, he couldn't answer a lot of the questions of where things were going. And so that's when we realized that like, obviously we know that the P&Ls aren't the only thing you need to take a look at, but you really do need deeper financials to actually underwrite a business. Like looking at a P&L is not going to be the full story. So if you're, you know, inquiring about your first business or anything, just make sure that you get something like the tax returns, especially the last 3 to 5 years, especially for a business that's like been in business for like 50 years. Like they're going to have their financials in order, or hopefully. And then you wanted tax returns so that way you can loop in somebody who is experienced in underwriting businesses to take a look at the financials of the last 3 to 5 years and not only something that's like a P&L. Because P&Ls are just like really poorly documented and they can fluff those up as pretty as possible to make it look like, because that's often the first thing that you'll get sent when you inquire about a business. They can fluff those up and make them as look as pretty as possible, which is kind of what he did, but couldn't really back it up when you were asking questions. So then if you really want the full proof and the full picture, then that's when you're going to need to ask for those tax returns to see what they actually did report and what they received.